If you're looking to run a larger cassette in the back than say a typical 28 or 30, then and you don't want to have to buy a whole new derailleur, this is a quick little easy swap. So basically this is a derailleur with a short cage derailleur, and we can actually switch out just the cage portion for a long cage, which would allow us to run up to a 34 tooth cog in the cassette there. So anyway, that's our large plates. Comes with the 2 plates and a little pin. And so anyway, yeah, it's a pretty simple swap. You can tell it'll say SS on the cage if it's small, or GS if it's the larger one. Tools we're going to need are a T10 Torx wrench, and then just a standard 3mm Allen wrench. So as far as in the Shimano documents, I'm taking the pulleys off first here, and they show just to take the whole cage off. You can do it either which way. This is just how I'm demonstrating it here. I like to kind of set these pulleys aside, put the bolts in them in the orientation that they were in the derailleur, just to save a little, save a little hassle later on. You know exactly the orientation that they're going to go, because there is a definite upper and lower, your guide pulley and your tension pulley. So, and they're directional as well. So I just put the bolts back in them and positioned them up or lower. So anyway, we're going to remove this there's a little pin there that holds it together. This particular derailleur is a Di2. It's the Shimano 8050. So I popped it out there so we can get this thing rotated around. There's a little stopper pin there that keeps that cage from basically winding or unwinding further. So what I'm doing there, I'm applying a little pressure on the end of the arm, enough to keep that pin from the stopper pin from resting against the derailleur body. So from there, that thing will just like naturally wind itself up clockwise, as far as if you're looking at the outside face of the derailleur. It's pretty simple. Basically just pull that little pin out, and then from there it just engages into a little groove at the end of that shaft, and the whole assembly will just pull right out. So you got that spring with the little flat edge there. You can see the little opening in the derailleur body that just slips into there. You can see the difference lengthwise in the cages as well. Yeah, this is just the directions as far as in the Shimano dealer PDF. They're showing the whole assembly together, but obviously the pulleys and everything are going to have to come apart, so you can just do that however you want. We're going to put a little grease on that shaft there, and then the one end of the spring, it's got kind of a little hook on it. That's this side that's going to engage into the derailleur body. There's 2 holes there, so we're going back into the first position hole there. If you go to the other one, it's going to give you a little bit more spring tension, but I just kept it as far as how they had it set up on the OEM setup. There's a little black kind of a plastic dust seal, water seal, so that'll just slide over the spring. I could have just left that in there, but I wanted to just show orientation of all the parts and pieces. So that'll just slip right in, get it towards flush with the derailleur body, and then from there you're going to wind it counterclockwise. First you put the pin in to hold it in, but basically you got a spring loaded at this point, so you'll rotate that arm counterclockwise about 180 degrees until the hole there where the little stopper pin threads in. The long cage came with a longer pin, so we'll put that one in there, and yeah, so that stops it at that point, and then you're ready to bolt your pulleys on and go. So, like I say, this is the Di2 version with just a standard any Ultegra, Durace, 105, whatever. If you want to make the same modification, it's basically the same process on these newer ones. It's just you just want to make sure you get the correct parts for your specific derailleur. But like I say earlier, the pulleys are directional. There is the upper, the guide pulley, and then the lower, which is the tension pulley, and they both are directional. So you want to make sure you get those things rotating in the correct orientation as well. So that little trick as far as position, you want to make sure if it's a new derailleur that hasn't been taken apart, then they should be in the correct orientation, but you might want to double check. There's actually a little arrow on there that shows the rotational direction and everything else, but I found it's just a little quicker and easier if you set them aside with the bolts. Because one bolt's going to go in, the upper bolt's going to go in from the back side in, and then this lower bolt here is going to go from the outside pointing towards the back there. So yeah, just once you get those in, I don't torque one down all the way. I'll get them both started, and then once they're both mostly threaded in, I'll torque them down from there. So yeah, that's basically it. It's a pretty simple process. Save you the cost of buying a whole new derailleur if you're looking at, especially on a Di2, if you're looking at running some bigger gears. Hopefully you found the video helpful, and it's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.